So this electrical outlet here is the last point of power. It comes all the way down to here, goes up to what used to be a switch here, which originally ran up to 2 pot lights that were above the mantle area here. So as you can see, the switch has been removed. I'm just going to put a cap over this when I put the hardy board on. But then in conjunction down here, when I had the power off, I wrapped tape around the terminals on the outside here. So I did electrical tape around it because I knew I was going to have to work with it while it was hot when I put this other hardy board panel on, which you'll see in a minute here. And in doing so, I can take it out and handle it. And then when I go to slip it through the opening and stuff, I don't have to worry about anything catching or getting shocked because it's all covered and insulated now. So just a little tip, if you're ever putting up wainscot or, hardy board like I'm doing, or stone board or anything like that, best way you can do it is just tape everything off, and then that way you don't have to worry about getting shocked by it if you still have to have your power on. The hardy board and the cement board are in place. So the cement board's down there. I'm going to do a 1-inch thick troweled finish on it. It's a countertop mix. So it's kind of like grout. It's got a different granules of sand in there, so coarse and fine, Portland cement. So that's going to go down there, and then up top here we're going to run corrugated metal across the wall here. So that's why there's a gap, because we wanted the mantle to be 4 feet off the ground. It's about the same height as the bottom of the original mantle was right there. But the hardy board is only 3 by 5, and I didn't want to buy extra stuff, so I just took the end cuts to make it 3 by 4, and then those end cuts then went up top to run across so that I can screw my metal in and it's the same plane from the ground all the way up. Because the metal itself is going to give another barrier, but also a radiant barrier, so it's going to help radiate heat back, give some insulation. I'm not worried about the hole in the wall there from where the contractors or wherever just got mad and punched a hole or whatever. Same thing over here, that one was there too. It's amazing. But that one will get fixed over there. But that one there I'm just going to leave because it's going to be behind the metal. That's going to get, like I said, the metal over it, so that's going to get covered up. And then that guy's good to go. And I put a screw in there to hold it in place for now so I can work on it. But then once I get the metal, to go put the metal on, the metal has a 1.5 inch standoff from the valley to the peak on the corrugate. And so depending on where that lines up there, I'm actually going to cut this out a little bit bigger and do it out of pine so that the metal will sit closely trimmed around the pine. The box will get screwed to the pine, and then we're going to get a pine wooden cover to actually put over it so it all matches the trim work, because the trim work's all going to be pine, which will be the next step, is getting my trim cut for down there to do the border so that I have a level line to actually backfill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my trim piece, and then I'm going to make sure I can reverse it. So I'm going to put it upside down, do my concrete work, so if I get anything on there, when I go to take it up and flip it over and put it back down, I'll have a good clean edge facing up. Okay, so there you have it. That's it for today in this video. I got all the hardy board laid out, screwed on. That's all done. I got the actual cement mortar laid out, and as you notice, I did a nice little design in there. Kind of showed you a little trick there with the garden trowel. Of course, my camera kind of ran out of data, and so it shut off halfway through that process. But I also used a small fork that I've got that's got a rounded handle on there to really get in there and get good grooves between the stone. And then I went back when it was just starting to get good texture to it, when it was starting to set up, with a kitchen sponge. So abrasive on one side, regular sponge on the other side, and I got the sponge wet, and I just went in and I started texturing the stone. So basically I wiped the grooves in between so that it looked more chamfered, like it was actual, you know, broken stone that had been mortared together. And then by taking the abrasive side of the sponge, while it's wet and kind of dabbing on top, it kind of pulls some of the surface up a little bit and gives it a texture. And if there were little spots where there were little trowel voids, you come back and you kind of smooth those out and then retexture them so it looks like real stone. So that's pretty much it for that one. Other than the trowel and whatnot, it's just decorative. It's a nice stone hearth, or it looks like a stone hearth out of concrete, basically. Well, not concrete. Let me rephrase that. It's mortar joint compound. So just like for bricks mortar, that's all it is. So it's just two different kinds of silica sand, real fine grade and coarse grade, with Portland cement mixed in there. That's it. Trowel it on. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick on top of that 1/2 inch fireboard. So I have just over an inch of thickness there for the landing, with that wood edge that you saw. That's to kind of hold everything in place, and then give it a decorative finish. And that's it. So next video should be some of the finish work. So I'll be getting the stone sealed, the concrete sealed basically. I'll be getting the metal on, and I'll be doing some of the trim work. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.